here with manager Bud Black. Larry Patrick, why don't you start us off?
Yes, buddy. Tonight, a big game, a great crowd out here, and everybody in the lineup contributed tonight. Tapia with the sacrifice fly. Everybody else had at least one hit.
I agree. There's a lot of contributions, Larry, offensively throughout the lineup. There were some good at bats. Excuse me. There were some good at bats, and also the contribution from the bullpen as well. So a lot of guys involved. It's good to see, some of the offense spread out a little bit. Like you mentioned, Tapia sac fly, Diaz a hard hit at the bottom of the order. Mac contributed. He got, he was on base. So, a lot of good things tonight in this ball game.
Talk a little bit about German tonight. He struggled through 5 innings. What was his main problem this evening?
Yeah, didn't really, didn't seem, German sharp tonight. The first inning, a couple soft hits, right? Albies led off with a little blooper. We didn't make a play, against Freeman. Duvall hit the ball in the nose, for their second run. But he just wasn't sharp. I mean, he made some big pitches when he needed to, got the big punch out of Riley, who's who's having a really good season and one of their hottest hitters. Got him in the 5th in a big spot. That was critical. But the breaking pitches weren't as effective as we've seen German, and when we see the good version of German.
Thomas Harding, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy. I wanted to ask you again about German. The fact that he was able to still kind of navigate you guys through. I mean, when he doesn't have his best stuff, but still just too.
Yeah, I mean, he's learning that. He's learning that skill. When he's not, his crispness. So that's part of gaining experience. That's part of being a major league starter. And in a full season, you get 33, 34 starts. They're all not going to be outstanding starts. There's going to be games like today when you might not have your best stuff, your best breaking pitch, and you got to work your way through it to be, to be a quality major league pitcher. And he's learning that skill.
Yeah, and we've seen, I guess, the 4 starts coming into this. He didn't make all those pitches. Is it time now maybe to give a little bit of a breather? I mean, he's been a workhorse in this team. He's going
to get an extra day this time around. We'll keep looking at it. We're in a stretch of 17 straight games, so it's a little tough right during this stretch. But we work into those off days, those back-to-back Mondays. You might see a little something.
Okay.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Yeah, Robert Stephenson. How big was that for him? And to come in a situation like that, I mean, bases loaded there, 1 out, and just attack the strike zone.
Yeah, that was a big spot. Bardo's stuff was good. Didn't like the 2 walks. Then the ground ball got through. I figured it was time for a change. Bob came in and got the pop up. It wasn't a pop up. I mean, sac fly deep enough to score Freeman. And then, a couple big swings by Peterson, but got the curveball underneath the swing. So that was pivotal. I mean, that was, a big spot, bases loaded, 1 out, up 3, 1 hit there. The game goes a different direction. So good for Bob. That was a big spot.
And last one for me, Charlie with another home run. It's 3 straight days, and you've seen him kind of come on in the latter part of the season. What are you seeing out of Charlie?
Well, you're right. Good swings. I think, staying to the middle part of the park, I think is, the best version of Charlie when he's, not pulling off the ball, staying through the middle, driving balls to center. We've seen that a couple times now with Charlie, the straightaway center field home run. That's a great sign. We saw an opposite field home run, a few weeks ago, which is another great sign. So staying on the ball, staying up the middle, gap to gap type approach. I think that's the best version of Chuck.
Thanks, buddy.
Patrick Saunders.
Buddy, I was going to ask you about Charlie, but Thomas already did. So I just want to ask one more about Herman. I think he spiked 3 wild pitches tonight. Is that an indication in your eyes that maybe he was struggling with his off speed and his curve? His breaking spike, something like that?
Well, I think he overcompensated a little bit on the wild pitches. You know, and I think you saw that a little bit with Anderson too. When you throw some pitches up, some breaking balls up, you have a natural tendency to, you know, overcorrect, and when those pitches are down in the dirt. And I think you saw that with Herman. And I think you saw that with their guy too. You know, their guy's a strike thrower. You know, he's around the strike zone, but he was a little off tonight too with his control and command. But Herman has a tendency to overcorrect at times, which I'd rather have that.
You need something,
Don't want
Danny?
the wild pitch, but those are a little difficult to block. But, you know, you got to keep the ball down in this ballpark.
I thought he was moved.
Yeah, and buddy, one more for me. Crowd tonight, I think 35,000 plus. Another good night, good atmosphere. You guys aren't in the pennant race, so to speak, but the atmosphere at Coors, at least from my vantage point, it feels kind of like a playoff atmosphere when these teams are coming in. Are you feeling that too?
Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of energy in the park tonight for sure. You know, the Braves historically have traveled well, which is, you know, great for baseball. And our fans, you know, went toe to toe with them. I thought it was great. There was a lot of energy. It was a, you know, beautiful night, perfect temperature, you know, great night for September baseball. You know, we have some guys that I think are our fans like to watch. You know, Trevor Story, Chuck. You know, what's Crone doing? You know, young Rogers, McMahon. I mean, we got some players that I think our fans want to come and see. So I'm excited for that. And you know, we had an all-star on the mound, and that's a good thing too. So I think people are aware of some of our players and their talent, and they want to watch them. They wanted to watch an all-star pitch tonight, which is great, and a very good team of, you know, out of the East with some very, you know, high-end players. So it was a good night for baseball.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I will go to Danielle and then Sam. Danielle, go ahead.
Yeah, buddy, just to clarify, did you say you're going to give Herman an extra day off before his next start, or you're just hoping to get him one?
We're hoping to, Danielle. You know, we got Feltner tomorrow, and then we could slide John Gray in somewhere in the middle of the week.
Gotcha. Okay. And then Tyler Kinley has looked pretty good in his last 10 or so games. What have you been seeing from him lately?
More strikes, good command of the slider, in the strike zone. I mean, simply put, I mean, we've talked about, you know, all year long, you know, when a team wins games, there's usually a bullpen component of consistency. And the consistency means that you're getting it from a number of guys. And Kinley's one of those guys that's been performing consistently. And therefore, the bullpen has performed admirably. And he's part of that. But for me, it's about strikes. He's got good stuff, but the ball's in the strike zone. Early strikes, putting guys away, pitching aggressive.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll finish up with Sam. Sam, go ahead.
Hey, buddy, I wanted to ask you about Carlos Estevez. I mean, so he's looked really good in his last 15 games. He had a 14-game scoreless streak and then gave up the home run tonight. What have you seen from him coming off of a struggling 2020 season? And then he's looked really, really good this year.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes along to the previous question from Danielle that, you know, bullpen consistency is used as it relates to Carlos. I think the fastball velocity has ticked up a touch. I think that's helped. I think the changeup has come into play more. I think the feel for that and the confidence to throw that more often and get outs. You know, Albies, the second out in the ninth was a good changeup. There was a changeup last night to Freeman, the one he tapped back to Carlos. So I think the fastball uptick in velocity, the more frequent use of the changeup, and a more consistent slider has led to Carlos's